Okay, members and friends. So this one is about our lives being in limbo. I'm talking to my dad over there. You know, it's really hard to stay motivated. And it's really hard to keep my kids motivated, about the future. And we've all lost a sense of family. The family just doesn't feel complete. Andre's in limbo. He's languishing in foster care. Um, my life is on hold, right? I'm swamped with more work. I'm thinking about lawsuits and, I'm thinking about the criminal code and, I'm thinking about who I should sue. Is it the government? Is it the ministry? Is it the police? Is it the foster parent association? Is it the city? Who do you sue? Not the individual, because the individual is just the worker. Somebody allows the individual to disrupt other people's lives where their life comes to a complete halt, and it just slowly but surely just digs itself deep into depression. Because that's where this family's going. We're down there and we're just going deeper because there's no resolution to having Andre come home. And then I try and shake it off, and I tell my kids, well, it's like with my daughter, it's like playing the piano. When you first started playing, it took a while for you to kind of pick up some speed. Well, it's the same thing when you're in the recovery process of, going through what we're going through right now in terms of having a child removed from your care and your home, and a family member just removed from your family, and you worry every day, almost every minute of the day, if they're okay. Is the foster caregiver maybe pinching my grandson? We knew that she wasn't dressing him properly, and we knew that she wasn't feeding him enough, and we know that she allowed him to develop an infection, and we still don't know how he got that infection, but we just know these things, or the social worker knows these things too, and we're just all in limbo with it. Everybody's in limbo. Mom's in limbo. His mother's in limbo. And she's in a different kind of limbo. She's not improving. She's sustaining, just subexisting. So this is what the Ministry of Children and Family Development has brought to my family. A big crushing weight that's put everything in limbo. All our lives are in limbo. All our dreams are in limbo. And even when we try to come out and think about something positive or do something positive, that big crushing weight just comes down, and it just makes everything into a negative. And then you have to crawl your way back up and try and bust through that glass ceiling to get into that positive zone again, when the reality hits you in the face and you just think, no, my life's in limbo. I have nothing to celebrate. I have nothing to feel good about. It's hard for me to put on a brave face for the children if I go off and do this bells for Andre. It was hard for me to put on a brave face when we went off and did the rally with, the walk for welfare justice down up by Adrian Dick's office. I had to, dress up and, go like this and, shake it off, right? But at the end of the day, it's still in limbo. As you have Christy Clark get up there and, with her campaign, oh, family this, and oh, sense of grandchildren, and oh, and I'm like, you bitch. You lying fork-tongued bitch. How can you get up on TV with your propaganda knowing what you know? Putting people's lives in limbo. Like, what are you so afraid of with my family that you have to come into our lives and do this to my children? From the smallest to my grandson to my children that are in college. Because you can't control your workers, because you allow them to go out there and stimulate the economy with illegal baby brokering. I've been reading some of these stories that these people have been going through long before I showed up on the scene with my grandson. And it's disgusting. It's shameful that we carry on like this in Canada. Canada needs to be demoted as a country if we're going to be running around treating each other like slaves. So this is about being in limbo. I have a new lawyer. The lawyer that I had says the case is kind of complicated and it's going to require some time. And I said, no kidding. And he also said that there's definitely something fishy up with this. And I said, yeah, no kidding. Thank you very much for acknowledging that. So he suggested somebody to see if maybe she can do it. So I may have a female lawyer instead of a male lawyer. So we'll see. Everything's always, again, we're in limbo. Do I expect miracles from the lawyer? Well, obviously not. She's just a lawyer. She's just one person, right? But who's really suffering the most here is my grandson. He's been deprived of his heritage, his ethnic culture, his spirituality, his love, nurturing, bonding, just everything that comes with the family that gives that support to a child as it's growing up. They've deprived him of his language, of his mother, aunts and uncles, grandma. The dad, well, dad didn't, dad kind of seen the baby as a threat. So, we're in a spot in life now where, the dad with his, Mama Lynn's a bitch now. Well, what do you mean Mama Lynn's a bitch? Oh, well, you goof stealing son, stealing the socks, right? We'll stab him when I get out of jail because he made me go down the street and punch some dude in the face, and I don't want to take responsibility for that, but I'm still a dad. So here, let me sign over my parental rights to the social worker because she comes and visits me while I'm in my 23-hour lockup. So I'm not being disrespectful to the dad here, but really, I think DNA is in order. Okay? Let's just set the record straight since we're on the subject. And even his life is in limbo. He's in 23-hour lockdown. Everybody's life is in limbo except the social workers and the foster care parents. They're rolling in the dough. Well, the provincial government's just tallying up the statistics. And the federal government must be involved too, because for the provincial government to be so zealot about allowing these people to go out there and destroy lives like this, whole lives, it's a chain reaction. Just like it's a chain reaction from the government. Christy Clark, oh, families this and grandparents. No, to hell with that. That's a lie. That is a lie. Because if that's the way she really feels, but she wants to treat my family the way she's been treating my family, why doesn't she just get the balls to come in here and fucking arrest us and throw us all in jail? You're going to treat us like criminals, then throw us in jail. Charge us with something so we know what we can defend ourselves when we go to fucking court. It's still like, what's the date today? It's April 30th. April 30th. My grandson was apprehended January 15, 2013. It's April 30th, and I still don't know what we did wrong. They're protecting him from what? Me talking into a camera? Putting it up on YouTube? Where a few... Okay. I didn't plug it in. So it got cut off in the middle of my tirade, right? My little venting, eh? And somewhere in there just, the camera went off. There's a cord now. It's plugged into the hydro. I seen the light flashing. I couldn't understand why it was flashing. Maybe that's why I was getting a little hyper, because I seen the light flashing. But at the end of the day, Christy Clark, that's what I was finishing off with. Christy Clark, with her families and grandchildren in the future. And no, there is no future. Not when your life is in limbo. Not when your children's lives are in limbo. Not when your grandson's life is in limbo. Not when your daughter's life is in limbo and it's just not even, it's worse than limbo. I'm having to put up with her stealing things around the house right now, and just, she's not doing as well as I would like her to, still waiting for the program. They'll ship her off and then she won't make it to court because she'll be in lockdown for 3 weeks. But I think she spent her welfare check, so I don't think she has rent, so they probably won't take her now because they, they make them pay, right? They take their welfare checks for their treatment. No. Just like they take their baby bonuses when they kick them out and take the children, and then they go give it to, some woman that can't keep up with babies, so she kind of starves them a little bit so they don't have that much energy, right? Because my mom, my daughter said that my grandson's not that, doing that well. Now I'm going to tell this to the lawyer. And will the judge care? So everybody's life is in limbo. And we're all depressed. And even when we try to be happy, no, it's very hard. And the longer that Andre is away and gone, the deeper the depression gets. And again, the only recourse is to narrow down who needs to be sued. And it's not something that I want to do because, one, I don't have the energy. My eyesight's going on me, so it's hard to read sometimes, all the time. Lots of reading, right? And I'd like to think I could work on the non-profit, but then again, BC Liberal government has never really cared about the non-profit, because if they did, they wouldn't have kicked me out on the streets in 2003, in January with 5 dependent kids, hoping that I'd fall flat on my face back in those days, right? It's kind of the same thing, only, this time it really, really hurts. And it's put everybody's life on hold. Well, we all wonder how Andre's being treated because they've got him so well hidden and protected behind their court papers, which really say nothing at this point, almost 5 months later. I mean, are they done plotting their case now? Have they collected enough fucking evidence in the last 5 months to say that they have a reason to keep him? To say that they had a reason to take him in the first place? They're destroying my children's self-esteem, robbing them of the opportunity to learn how to be good aunties and caregivers, so that when they grow up and have a family, they'll be able to learn how to look after their own children because they helped to raise their nephew. My son, he's going to be a teacher. Well, why can't he have a little nephew running around? Was he too dark for that? Not, in my opinion, white enough right now, not what's right. Or, maybe not dark enough. Because there's a criteria that these people look for, right? And because my grandson tends to look more white, he's more marketable in the real world of politics. So it's all in limbo, though, They gotta totally disenfranchise the family while your leader, the premier, gets up on TV and says, "Oh no, that's not true. That's not what we do here. We don't do any of that nasty stuff. We support families, and we stand up for grandparents, and we love our grandchildren, and BC's the best place to live." But only for some people, while the rest of us are in limbo. And even if you bring in some music and you try and spice it up and put on a fucking happy face for a day, you're going to come right back down. You're going to crash down, only you're going to hit down a little harder. And when you fucking hit the ground, you're going to say, "Whoa." You just dug yourself in a little more deeper. That depression's going to get a little more deeper. That sadness and that sense of lack of motivation. But I guess, when you're dealing with politics and you got the federal government coming in, building up their fucking prisons to lock up all the depressed people, because, that's how they deal with mental illness these days, is just lock up people and steal their babies. If they don't want us talking about stuff like that, then maybe they should make an effort to turn things around. But they're not. They're investing all their money, billions of dollars, into prisons. They don't really do anything. Like I said, my daughter's ex-boyfriend running around getting charge after charge after charge, causing all this havoc, can, start a house on fire over there, he can beat up somebody over there. He never goes to fucking jail. And when he does go to jail, he's there for a month, 2 months, and then let him out. I'm watching a video here You know, one guy was sitting there waiting for his baby to be born, come in there, cops grab him, you know, take him out in the hall, beat him all up and everything else, you know, and he never allowed to see his kid based on what's, you know, dried up, you know, prunish 22-year-olds getting out of college think that, you know, people should be living their lives so that everybody can be in limbo. Anyway, this family is in limbo. I'm depressed. I'm trying to be positive. It's not working. My grandson is suffering. He's being abused. He's being maltreated. He's being deprived of his family. And people need to stand up for that. They need to stand up for my grandson. Because these videos, as long as I'm alive, if my grandson does not come home very soon, I will continue to make these videos until the day I die. I will corrupt my own non-profit. Because my grandson will not be the devil's sacrifice for these people. It will be the non-profit will be the sacrifice. And then the BC government that inherits this bullshit in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years can look back when this province is in dire poverty and it's prison after prison after prison with gated community over there and gated community over there with the rest of the savages running around in the fucking bush. They can go back onto this channel or wherever these videos will be located, and they can remind themselves what idiots their predecessors were before them. My grandson is not a sacrifice for devil worshippers. These people that do this kind of stuff are occultists. When you depress whole families and you put them into limbo and you bring mass depression into the house and you expect people just to move on and forget your family members because they're small and they don't count. Whatever. This is a big waste of time. Just talking, right? Like Christy Clark. I'm just talking. It's just talking. It's just words. It's like when they type them down. You know, their Services Standards Act. It's just words. Just words.